Bionicle wins. We're never going to know that.
All right. Well, this is my first time doing a live stream here on YouTube. Go ahead and wait until we have some people in the chat. I'm very new to some of this. As you guys know, it's been a long time. So, I'll just kind of be paying attention to the live chat. If I have to step out for any logistical technical reasons, I will. Today I'm using my webcam. In front of me, though, is my Panasonic EVO 1 cinema camera, which I will be using pretty much for videos going forward. Hey, Christopher. It's good to see you. Yeah, been a long time. You guys are getting a sneak preview, if you will, of my setup. I'm getting a Bionicle poster here. This is a giant Onua little statue. I got Tahu up here. I have this old Bionicle mask I got from like Legoland. Must have been 15 years ago. It's good to see you guys. Keep hanging tight. At some point during this, I will need to grab, probably just a sparkling water or something. But it's good to see some people still here after all these years. I think they're still live, but I was just tuning into TTV. I don't know if you guys follow the three Virtuos, Meso, LJ, Ben, all those guys. But I've always been a big fan, and I listened to them. They kind of like kept on going all those years after I had kind of left. But they have a lot of good things to talk about, and I think that's some of what we could go into today. Again, this is, we'll go for about an hour, so it's just me testing the waters and seeing how it is to talk to you guys, because another thing is, there are other channels, other Bionicle channels that have like 3-4 times my subscribers, and I know it's going to take a while to get acclimated back into the community, but it's also important to me, and I think for any fan base of anything, whether it's movies, video games, the more voices that there are, I think the stronger the fan base becomes. And I think Lego's Bionicle line specifically will only be the better for it. The more people there are like me that keep this going, that keep the conversation happening. It breaks everyone's heart when they see a community act volatile towards each other, cannibalize each other up. So, all right, let's see what people are saying. Aditya Sundaram, I used to watch your videos. Yeah, a lot of people did, and I'm grateful that so many of you guys are still here. Paraka Avox says hello. Hello, fellow Bionicle nerds. Yo, man. I can't say your name, but Blake the Enchilada. I'm trying not to swear as much as I am a sailor myself. Jagovic, old-time fan, nice to see you. Hey, man. Odd dude, howdy ho. All right. Epic Proportions, 21, good to see you. Where can I get some of the big masks on your wall? Praka Avox says, during COVID, during quarantine, you get stimulus checks, you get money, and I put a lot of it into Bionicle stuff. I was just scavenging through eBay. There's actually an Instagram user called Bionicle Universe that I follow, and he posts about all this weird collectibles, not the sets, but a bunch of other Bionicle material and things that have been released over the years. And this was on eBay for like a couple $100. Someone in Hawaii must have got it at a Lego store, 20 years ago easily. I mean, it was like used to promote it, and I was like, I need that, ship that out to me now. It'd be great to put on my wall. And so I messaged, and they replied, and I bid. I think I outbid someone by like $50, and they mailed it to me. It was huge. My roommates were like, oh my God, you're crazy. So, you got to look all over eBay. I've seen, apparently it wasn't just the mask. Apparently these things were released with the arms and the weapons too. So I was like looking online, and I found one that was a mix of it was the head with like an arm piece as well, like two of the claws with the gray Technic arm, and I was like, oh my God, like if I got those two, imagine the two Onua arms right next to him. But for some reason, Onua is the one that's easiest to find. I haven't seen like a Tahu or who knows. So I'm assuming that they were, at Lego stores or at Toys R Us's, and they were hung up, on the outside to promote the toys. So So when I saw this, I had to pick it up because I was like, at this point, when Lego is making new Bionicle sets, it's almost more fun to collect these other collectibles of things like hats and shoes. I was literally looking online for Bionicle shoes the other day just for fun, even though I know, they wouldn't fit me or anything. It's just kind of fun to kind of collect in that sort of way. All right. I just noticed the giant Anua mask. That's sick. Nice. Enchilada. Where do you get that t-shirt? Okay, so this is actually a really important thing. It's nuts to me because while Lego definitely made a handful of Bionicle t-shirts you could order off the comics and the magazines, in the 2000s and early 2010s, Redbubble, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably heard of, let me know in the comment section if you have. Redbubble is just a website where clip art and artists that just kind of do digital design and digital artwork are allowed to upload their stuff, and you can get it on shirts, on mugs, on hats, and this is just one of the many things. So if you go to redbubble.com, search like Bionicle in t-shirts, I'm sure that there's like over 400 designs, and this one was just sick. I was like the original 12 Kanohi from years 2001 to 2002. I was just like, this is awesome. It's all 6 Turaga, all 6 Toa, all 6 masks that are represented by even the Matoran villagers. It's like the original 12. So I just thought, super dope. You got everyone on here, even Pohatu under there. You got Nokama, Nuju down there, Vakama. I actually ordered a mask that I'll be able to wear, a Vakama mask, for some of my videos. It'll be kind of fun. So yeah, if you want to get shirts like this, literally go to redbubble.com, search Bionicle, and between 20 and 30 bucks a pop, there are just some really, really sick shirts. Like there's like Bionicle meme shirts that you can find on Redbubble. It's kind of insane actually when you think about it. All right. Andre M, we're also old now. Yes, we are. It is weird for sure. Bionicle forever. Yo, I gotta go to class. Just want to say, glad you're back. Watched you when I was 10, and now I'm turning 21 in a few months. Isn't that crazy? 21. I remember turning 21, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can legally drink," and I just remember thinking, "I'm never gonna be a kid again." That's the worst part, It's like the idea that you are young and kind of like can't do all the things is kind of a thrill. So it's nuts turning 21, man. I turned 26 in October. So what are you gonna do? I don't know if it's saying it right, but Aditya, shit, yeah, I've watched you for over half my life. Yeah, man, pretty insane. I know it's hard to say that when like I've had various spurts here and there of 2 or 3 years of kind of going out and doing my own thing. I mean, but YouTube is hard, and the fact that I didn't get on this sooner during like COVID and quarantine, where it's like there's no work out here in LA, I'm surprised. Honestly, I should have done this a long time ago. But with everything going on right now in the Bionicle community, the fire is churning. It only made sense for out of all the times I could have to come back now and kind of get the conversation going. So tonight I'm actually going to be filming my first like big topic video. It's basically still just kind of an introduction on what my plan is to do with the channel and like the sort of topics I'm going to go over, which we can kind of go into a little bit tonight with you guys just on this live stream. Odd Dude 21. I'm 26 now. It's rough. Yeah, for sure. You start to kind of like bend over and you go, ugh, and you feel like old and all that. I mean, God forbid, we are getting old, but I think we can live a long time if you just exercise and, have a healthy lifestyle. It's weird. When I turned 25, I was like, damn, I'm halfway to 50. And both my parents were like, please don't say that. That's crazy. Please don't say that. But not that old. I mean, you ask anyone in their 40s, they're like, dude, you're young, blah, 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 you're young, But the years do start to show, for sure. But that's why we like Bionicle still. I think with Marvel too, and video games. I mean, just like all these things, movies and comics. You still enjoy these things, Lego, because it kind of maintains some of your youth in a way. And I think it's important for everyone to still stay young at heart. Obviously there's a lot of responsibility with growing up, but it's also important at the same time. So thanks for that, Odd Dude. Yeah, it's 26 is rough, but this is what keeps us going. Andre M, wish I had the money I had now back when Bionicle was still around, right? You're a kid, your parents aren't going to shell out hundreds of dollars for every year. It's nuts to think about like that I spend, the amount of money I spend on rent, monthly could go to buying an entire year's worth of Bionicle themes tenfold. It's like, oh my God, I'd be like buying 2 of each said, I'd be buying like 8 Borok, right, of just the one color if like, Lego were out now. And for the price that Bionicle was, man, these guys were cheap. These guys were like $5.99, $8.99 a pop, like crazy. I go out for a drink with my buddies, it's double that. It's kind of insane actually to think about how cheap Lego was and like what it became. Jagovic, when we were kids, we want to be adults, and when we're adults, we miss being kids. For sure. That's definitely a big thing. I will say, for some reason, I actually was very aware of the fact that becoming adult wasn't going to be a whole lot of fun, other than being able to drive and kind of be a little more responsible. I actually was not looking forward to becoming adult as a kid because I just loved the freedom and the ability to kind of like have no judgment, But that's interesting, Jagovic. I do agree. Paraka Avak. I started watching YouTube in 2007, started collecting Bionicle in 2003. Really old fan. Yeah, man. I started watching YouTube 2005 or 6. I mean, I started watching YouTube at the very beginning of it all, which is nuts to think about, that I could have taken more advantage of this whole thing before YouTubing and YouTubers became just giant over the last 5, 6 years. It's insane. I think my first Bionicle I got was 2002. I've kind of been retracing my steps back, kind of like going through my brain on the exact years where I was when I jumped into the Bionicle. I think I jumped into Bionicle after it had been out for about 8 months or so. So 2001. It was probably October or something. Yeah. And I just remember getting Toa-Tahu. My mom saw them at Toys R Us. She saw kids playing with them. I saw kids playing with them. And I was like, I want to get one of those. And I got Toa-Tahu right here. All right. HQ Bacon, it's good to see you. I would base my Bionicle purchases off your reviews and off the canon, of course. Yeah, it's kind of crazy for me to just think about that. I always look back on that. Actually, my college essay to get into school was a lot about being a YouTuber and going to BritCon and having fans walk up to me and handing out business cards and being like, this was actually a thing, And I will say, when I look back, and this is I'll be talking about this through the rest of my time on YouTube, but when I do look back, some of the videos is a little cringe. I didn't do it the best way possible. You have people like TTV and Jang Bricks doing it 100 times better. But I had a format and I had a fun way of doing it. And I definitely pushed the envelope as far as messing around and having fun with it, wasn't all serious, a lot of playing around, fun and games. But I know that it's important to everyone, that I was a big part of a lot of people's lives growing up. So that's great, HQ Bacon. Enchilada, what were your thoughts on Bionicle Ideas set that almost got made? I mean, there's been a handful of them. If you're talking about the Matanui one, the one that was a little play set, again, I just think, and this is something we'll get into in other videos, Lego has not an agenda, but they also kind of don't exactly, I don't know. It's weird. I think there are people within Lego that love Bionicle still or think of it fondly, but there's a lot of people that don't. A lot of Lego purists out there. I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but it's a big thing now in the community where AFOLs are kind of hating on Bionicle, and it's brother, Lego is Lego. What are you saying? It's a diverse product. I don't think you should be shaming anyone for liking one thing. We technically did outvote you in the first round. I'm just gonna say that. It's not we're not saying eat your words, but I would have loved to see that ideas set, but it takes a lot for an ideas set. I know everyone says 10,000, quickest to 10,000. It's a lot more than that. There's a lot, Lego has the right, and it makes sense as a company to approve sets and stuff. And I have a lot of actual ideas, and I'll be getting into future videos of what I think Lego could actually do to bring Bionicle back and what would be a smart way to go about it, instead of kind of how they did G2, but it's a conversation for another day. Just Josh, yo to you too. Aditya says, I remember being super excited for the documentary. Bionicle documentary, yeah, I was gonna make it when Bionicle was still a thing, and then when Bionicle got canceled, I basically made Bionicle the memorial, which I'm pretty proud of. It won some awards at film festivals and at the BritCon Film Festival in Seattle, and I think 2011 or so, 2010, 2011. Yeah, I never got around to making the full documentary though, because I was basically going through year by year narrating the comic book panels, and I remember my computer crashed and I lost everything, and that was so disheartening. But yeah, I love that you brought that up. Paraka Avak, I've been with the MCU from the very beginning. Iron Man dying, oops, spoilers, was really hard. Yeah, I loved MCU. We're here to talk about Bionicle, but I will say I'm the biggest MCU guy. I loved all the movies, watched all the movies. I will say, since Endgame, I've kind of taken a break. I overwatched them, honestly. And now, I think taking a step back and having a year and a half without any movies is actually a good thing. Yeah, rest in peace, Stan Lee. I was like in a grocery store and I found out about that. It was pretty emotional. Guinness Walker. My first set was 2001 Toa Tahu, 20 years ago. Yeah, Jesus, man, right? Insane. 20 years. 20 years. It's like, I understand like Lego's doing this 90th anniversary, but like if we don't get that, why not just do a Bionicle 20th anniversary? One set, one super cool set. I mean, you're not gonna, the reason why they lost a lot of money on Bionicle is they've made a lot of sets. And I feel like maybe to start with Bionicle, release just 4 to 5 really nice finite sets like that are just super cool with an engaging story. And then maybe slowly you can build up to it. 20 years. We should have a 20th anniversary set. The fact that like Lego hasn't said anything, like they haven't said jack about any new Bionicle set or just a word, just like a happy 20th anniversary in the magazine or something. It's weird. It's weird, dude. HQ Bacon, I remember watching that Geico dollar bill parody. That's so funny, dude. Yeah, Leo, he just had his birthday yesterday. He's one of my best friends still to this day, actually. Zach and Leo, our little YouTube channel. That's so funny that you still remember that. Man, I love that. That's great. Yeah, we had a blast. I thought like the commercials were everywhere at that time, and I thought it was so funny. And I was like, this is kind of a trend. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Jeez, that was hilarious. Andre M, my first set was Turok. Nice. Guinness Walker, any advice for new channel diving into Bionicle and Lego? I mean, this goes for any YouTube thing. And, I'm not the biggest YouTuber, but I follow a lot of big YouTubers. And I was there at the beginning of the partnership program. I pretty much understand YouTube in and out, like completely, wholeheartedly. And a lot of it is like you do have to post frequently. Like I myself lost probably hundreds, if not almost 1,000 subscribers over the last 3 years just because I wasn't posting. And I tried to rebrand the channel. And I realize now it's Bionicle fans that follow me as much as I'd love to make like a movie YouTube, channel. And I'm assuming you guys who are still subscribed to me didn't mind that, you were willing to still be along for the ride. But the sad fact is a lot of people didn't. So an advice for a YouTube channel, Bionicle Lego, join into the community. As you know, I'm creating Bionicle Talk, Bio Talk. I'd love to figure out a way. I'm a little bit new to the streaming tech, but like to be able to get 4 or 5 of us all talking and having conversation over Discord would be awesome. So stay in the community, comment on videos. I mean, Bionicle videos are being made now like more than ever. Like it's actually kind of like picking up steam. So I'm trying to ride this high for a bit and be able to contribute as well. So contribute to the conversation. Watch a lot of the channels that I've named. If you go to my channel, you'll see channels that I appreciate that are BioTubers now. I've kind of reformatted everything to work towards Bionicle. So yeah. Odd Dude 21. Cringe for you, nostalgia for us to rewatch. That's great. That only makes me feel good. I will say I've looked online for like people's conversations about my old videos, and there are some people who are like, he's a little unorthodox, a little unconventional, like verged on kind of obnoxious, but like it's fine because I know that you guys are nostalgic for it, and I love that. And because I'm nostalgic for so much YouTube. There's a bunch of old YouTube videos I'll rewatch, and I'm nostalgic for. Some channels that are like full on deleted and aren't active at all anymore. It's really sad. Herbies or Herbals, awesome. Herbials is awesome. Sorry if I'm butchering some of these names. Glad to see you're back. Been watching you since 2009. Now 20 years old. Yeah, 20 years. I mean, trust me, you're still plenty young. 25 is when you really feel it. 26, it's like, all right, I've been here a year ago, but 20, dude, and you're still young. You're not even 21 yet, That's good. 2009, yeah. I mean, that was when I was probably at the height of my YouTube, which is nuts because it was the very end of Bionicle. It's like I was a little young, but I wish I had almost like started the channel in 2006, 2005. Bionicle was, halfway over at that point, but it would have been interesting to see if I could have started that early. The tech wouldn't have been as good, Robin Strickland, it's been a long time. How's life been? Great. I saw that you're on so if you guys don't know, there is a Bionicle community Facebook page. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't know about it. I think there's about 2,000 members, 2,500 members, which isn't a lot. You would think that it would have more than that because I follow these biotubers who have like 60K, 80K, 140K. Obviously, some of their subscribers are not Bionicle fans, but I mean, a majority are, and I'm just surprised. So if you guys are on Facebook at all, and I don't use it that often, actually, I quite literally only use Facebook for Messenger, group chats, and like events, and then this Bionicle Facebook group. So search like on Facebook, the Bionicle community group. Robin Strickland, he's on there. And I just made a post about the fact that I was restarting my YouTube channel, and he was like, oh man, I was a big fan. I'll be listening in. So yeah, it's good to hear from you, dude. Yeah, it's been a long time. Life's been good. Living in LA, film production, all that shit. It's not the most fun thing right now because with COVID and everything, it's like impossible to work and find work. It's a tough industry, dude. I mean, I've been out here for 3 years. It's another one of the reasons I really wasn't doing YouTube is because every day it's a struggle. Every day it's a grind. You have to get on set. You have to meet people. You have to network. It's hard. It's a reason why not right next to the music industry. It's the hardest industry to be in. It really is about getting your foot in the door, meeting the right people. And it's like a gamble. Every day, every set you're on, every person you meet, you're gambling. And you make an impression. And it gives you work or it doesn't. And it's been tough. You know, I've been able to do pretty well for myself, but I'm still just beginning, which is nuts because I came out here in LA in I was 22, 23, 22. So almost 4 years now, but life's good. I have some great roommates. I have a nice house in North Hollywood. You know, we have a hot tub out back. It's relaxing. It's been nice to quarantine here. Life's been okay. My friends, you know, a really solid group. So thanks about that. How's life going for you? Paraka Avok, Ninjago is a better replacement for Bionicle than Hero Factory. I would agree as far as story goes. You know, I don't even know if it was much of a replacement because it did start when Bionicle, I swear Bionicle still had a year or two. Maybe not. It's a good story though. It's another conversation, but I actually liked Exoforce's story a little more. It felt kind of like Bionicle. That's a line that didn't last very long at all. The fact that there were two mountains and there was a bridge and like I thought Exoforce was kind of really cool, like a lot of potential there that they didn't get into. But obviously, it's without a doubt, and Ninjago's been around 10 years. Now it's surpassed Bionicle soon. Very successful line. They made a movie that was released in theaters. Isn't that nuts? Insane. Just Josh, I started YouTube in 2017. It was very different back then, right? It changes every year, man. It's especially the last year or two. It's nuts. I was more raw and barely a YouTuber. Now in 2020, I have 152 subs. Well, I love doing YouTube. I have a lot of fun recording videos. And dude, that is awesome. I follow a couple of these YouTubers that, you know, have 200K. They make a living off of these things, doing live chat. You know, people send in tips and all that. I'm hoping I could eventually get into that game here, but they make a living and they say, you know, people talk about starting on YouTube all the time saying, I only have 100 subs. I only have 152 subs. That's not what matters. What matters is it's a hobby and you have a following. And if you love doing what you love, that's all that matters. You keep the conversation going. You keep the community going. That's amazing what you just said. You have 152 subs and you love doing YouTube. That's awesome, man. Some people would be like, damn, I want more. I want to like make money, make a living. I want 2,000. I want 5,000. I want 1 million. You know, that's not the way you should think about it. You should think about it as that's already successful. 152 people is a lot of people still. I mean, just 20 people right now in this chat talking, like that's still great. You know, I'm very fortunate to have that. Urbiels is awesome. Damn, thinking about it, you're one of the OGs of the Lego YouTubers. Exactly, man. And a lot of people fallen off, and I'm trying to get back on. I'm trying to build the community again. Jugovic writes, Bionicle deserves to be as evergreen for Lego as Transformers. I agree, and Hasbro Gundam for Bandai. Yeah, I agree, man. You know, there's a lot of reasons why, and these are conversations we'll get into, you know, in the future. But I agree, pretty much completely, wholeheartedly. At some point, dude, I mean, it's a tough argument, but I would argue that in a way, Bionicle lore and the background and story is in some ways larger than Transformers because they've rebooted Transformers 100 times over. You know, there's a handful of planets here, and I guess I'm not the biggest Transformers nerd, so I can't. I'm just speaking for myself when I say I think Bionicle lore can rival that of a Transformers, dude. Lightpost Films, yo, just maybe you and I could do collabs. Exactly. I mean, I'm hoping to collab with a bunch of people. There's so many people on YouTube doing this stuff. Guinness Walker, so I'm the editor for Ignition 3 project. Otherwise, Bionicle Ignition, Battlefield Power. Would love to something with you on this Biotalk thing, dude. Exactly. And I'm gonna hopefully, I think the live chat will save, and I'm gonna like hit you guys up because going forward, I would love to be a part of anything of that. I know Noah Productions has done stop motion for the Ignition. He like basically took the books and made animation for them, which I think is just awesome. It's stuff that I wanted to do, and I was always too lazy, so I love that stuff. BioTube, I only use Messenger as well. Yeah, BioTube. Literally, that's all I use. You know, I'm not scrolling through Facebook. I think there's a lot of BS and there's a lot of false information. You know, I'm not trying to get political, but you know, it's even outside of that, just like old people. It's like old people posting like memes that from like 2 years ago, and it's just like it's just not the place I go for scrolling on feeds. You know, I have Instagram and Reddit. I just, you know, Messenger. I use Messenger and Facebook groups, and there's Bionicle community group. If you guys don't know about on Facebook, look it up. You have to answer like 3 or 4 questions, like what's your favorite Bionicle and why? What was the first set you got? And you know, if you answer them as a Bionicle fan, they'll know and they'll approve and you'll get in. And it's just really interesting to see what people post on there. Rob Strickland, yes, sir. All right. Just Josh. COVID kind of helped me get back doing YouTube. I mean, in a way, it kind of is for me now. I wish I had done that earlier, but I agree. Paraka Alvak, my first 5 Bionicle sets, 2 Rockshi, 2 Borakal, and Platanuva. That's a great way to start, man. You're on the cusp of the best. I mean, I love all Bionicle, but 2001 to 2003 were just magical, pure magic in my opinion. But I love all of them, dude. Mari, Voyanui, it's all great. Guinness Walker, yeah, music industry and acting about as hard as it gets. Yeah, no, it is. BioTube, thanks for the feature. Totally, man. And I hope to do more. Light Post Films at Just Josh. Hey, same here. Just Josh. Now I upload a few vids a week. Sometimes I upload daily. That's how you have to do it too. Like that's the hardest part is you got to be consistent. That's the biggest thing about YouTube. The moment you stop posting, you kind of get screwed. Exoforce was great. Brother from Another Brick. Exoforce was great. Yeah, man. Exoforce was great. Super underrated. People do not talk about it enough. It was interesting. It was kind of like Bionicle with Lego in just the fact that they had these giant mecha armor, like mecha suits. Like really cool idea that I'm just surprised didn't catch on because that was the biggest thing. You put your little Lego guy in like a giant mecha armor and they battle it out. It's like you're putting a Lego guy in a giant Bionicle made of Lego. It's not a whole lot of technique being used, but like super cool idea, really cool visually, the story. So, that's always something I think people don't talk about enough. Exoforce, I agree. Even cooler, Just Josh. I'm actually a part of a naming group. Awesome. Herbiol is awesome. Would you ever bring back the classic reviews to finish this shit off? The only problem is that all my Bionicles are still back up home in Seattle in storage, every single one. In the next couple of years, once I'm more acclimated in LA, I'd love to bring them down and bring the collection here. But I just don't. The sad fact is I just don't physically have all of my Bionicles on me right now. That's the only problem. Epic proportions. Is it surprising seeing the few YouTubers who've stuck around? Some have shifted topics, others improved their skills like crazy. Oh, dude, totally. Again, like I could name off 100, but it's kind of crazy what a lot of these guys have been able to become and do. In a way, it's kind of the best form of expression and a place to like talk to people is on BioTube, and I think it's kept the flame alive in a lot of ways. I have to give my props off to like TTV and a lot of these other BioTubers, the Shadowed One. I mean, there's hundreds if you look into it, but there are like a top 5, and it's crazy. They really like, my hats off to them for having kept the flame alive all these years. So yeah, every proportions, I agree. It's nuts, surprising. Just honestly kills me when people say YouTube isn't a job. Oh, exactly. A job is about what you make money from. And dude, we're living in a new world. This is a new age. And you make money from YouTube is technically a job. 100%, dude. Like I know people that, I mean, obviously there's big YouTubers that make millions a year, and it's not even just from YouTube. It's from like, they have clothing lines and stuff and, merch and branding. But like, even just someone who has a couple 100K subscribers on YouTube, they have a conversation like this going, they have people write in for super chats, they make over 100K a year, and it's a solid living. So yeah, we're living in a new age. And I think like the fact that people think like I'm a doctor, I'm smarter. I don't exactly know about that. There are some YouTubers out there that are insanely knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than some people who've gone to college. So I agree completely. Just Josh. Addict just says, yo, it'd be sick if you helped with the 2008 Ignition movie he's working on. I mean, I'd obviously love in any way to provide voices. I don't really do animation myself. Again, like I said, my entire Bionicle collection is back home. I could buy replicas, but obviously it costs a pretty penny now to buy Bionicles online. You can. I mean, I think you could literally create an entire Bionicle collection by buying online, but you'd be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars probably at the end of it. But yeah, I'd love to help out. Reach out to me, and then maybe I'll reach out to them too. Brother from Another Brick. Facebook's a bit outdated. It is 100%. It is. Kids don't have Facebook anymore, but I made mine 12. Not more than 12, like almost 15 years ago. And I use it for Messenger. It's just it's like WhatsApp. It's just a place to talk to people. Dennis Walker, Noah has given our team Matanui Rising his blessing to continue film since he has no interest. Oh, that's too bad. I didn't know that he just stopped, but I'm sure just like me, he has a busy life. He has a lot of things to do. Machinui Rising. Well, that's a cool thing. That's a great to know that there's a team of you guys out there. Continue the film sales managers. We're all big fans of your old stuff. I mean, I'm a filmmaker. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to film the animations myself, really, since I don't have this physical sets with me. But if you needed help writing or directing, I guess, or kind of like maybe even editing or voice acting, just let me know. That's super cool. Best girl, just wanted to check in. All right, thanks for checking in. Have any of you biotubers heard of Edict Arts? I mean, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Is he still around? I remember that guy, dude. He was funny. He was a catch, honestly. I didn't mind him. People thought he was like a big hater and everything, but I think at the end of the day, he just liked doing what he wanted to do. And I mean, he fell off from what I saw. I really don't know what he's doing anymore, but I do remember him, Parakava. Just Josh, my name and consistent don't go together in a sentence, which is sad. Best girl, it was cool AF, yeah. The Daedalus 07. I used to make mechs out of Bionicle parts for my Exoforce minifigs. That's great. Another reason why I think that was an awesome theme. HQ Bacon. I'll be back in a bit. Super excited to see what you're up to on here. Always encouraging you to see you catch up, man. Yeah. Would you be at all interested in voice acting for Ignition 3? Yeah, of course. Totally. Just let me know. I have a couple mics, like industry standard mics. It's funny, I'm talking to you guys over webcam, but I literally have like a $15,000 camera to my right that I would have been using for this live stream. Only problem is I had some audio issues and I wanted to get onto this as soon as I could because you guys were waiting. So next time we do one of these, it will be like a million times like 4K quality, really nice dank footage for you guys to see. In the video I'm filming tonight as well, I'll be using that camera. Epic proportions. My Bionicle have gotten fragile over the years. So many joints cracked. I know this guy the other day joint cracked, and I'm like, oh my god. It's because of age. You know, I remember joints would crack here and there when I was playing with Bionicle as a kid, and like especially the lime green joints in the Mari series, but they didn't really break, and I think it's just over a year they become brittle. It's just kind of a sad fact. Just Josh. Like I said earlier, I love doing YouTube to a point where I feel like I'm never going to quit. It's become part of my life. That's awesome. Best girl, classic. Brother from another brick. I must have missed it, but are you a voice actor? No, but I've been told by tons of people in this industry and friends that like I should, because me and a couple of my friends just are great at voices. We can do all sorts of weird things with our voice. It's definitely a career path I'd love to be looking into further. You know, it's not something that I totally rule out. But no, I mainly direct and do a digital imaging technology on set, which is essentially organizing footage and backing up hard drives. It's kind of pretty critical for music videos and commercials to be the one that's kind of holding all the footage, you know, the money, the bread of the project. But directing is really my passion. It's what I studied in college. But I also I like doing acting. I like doing all these other things. But voice acting would be fun. I'd fancy the idea in the future for sure. The Deadless 07. I'll never forget when Edic Arts called Mistaka Mistaka. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Mystica. Yeah, actually, no. The Fantaka might have been better. Yeah, who knows? I mean, the storyline wasn't a mistake. I mean, I honestly believe that like the story was still pretty cool, but the sets did get a little weird. No mistake there. And yeah, Edic Arts again. What happened to the guy? Robin Strickland, what would be your ideal Bionicle set for the 90th anniversary like? I mean, if you guys listen to the Three Virtues podcast, TTV, LJ, and Meso, earlier today we're talking about it. There's two or three of them, but there's one giant Matanui robot that I would love to see. Now, here's the problem with that. It's a lot of gray pieces, and gray is just an unattractive color. You know, I don't think it would attract a lot of people. This would be, a giant robot is a selling point. I think kids would love to buy a giant robot 90th anniversary Lego set. They don't know what Bionicle is, but they know, wow. But another problem is it's kind of a spoiler. Like one of the biggest, like I think, important things with Bionicle is it was such a surprise to a lot of people that it was all taking place in a giant mechanical robot body. But yeah, Robin, to answer your question, I would say if you go to Lego Ideas, there is one giant Matanui robot that looks just insanely well detailed, insanely well constructed. If it came with like 2 or 3 little Bionicle minifigures, that I would buy like 2 of them or 3 of them, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's probably it. And, there's a bunch more. Like if you go to Lego Ideas, you'll find that there are just a bunch of cool Bionicle creations people are doing. All right. Sorry, guys. I was just messaging one of my roommates. We're all like doing rapid testing because of COVID, and it's like a new thing in LA. But it's hard to get tested, man. It's definitely hard. Best girl, thanks for making these videos for over a decade. I'll be watching your next vids. Yeah, man. And thank you for being here. Of course. I love you guys. And I really hope I do not let you down. Javik, don't worry about the resolution of your stream tonight. It's a cool throwback. I mean, this is a new laptop, but if you think it's throwback, that it's like low quality, yeah. It will going forward. I probably won't be this low quality unless I'm like on the road. Oh, dude. What do you plan on doing going forward? More chat sessions like this, topical combos, both. I mean, I'm starting basically with topical combos. I'm starting with basically not video essays, but kind of video essays on just these really cool topics. I can list them out for you guys right now if you don't mind. One moment, just for Odd Dude here and all you guys listening. These are just some of like the ideas I've been writing that I think could not only contribute to great conversation, but kind of open the door for like Bionicle ideas going forward. So, I mean, this is a lot of the ideas I have is like, what would a Bionicle movie look like? What would a live action adaptation look like? What would like an anime adaptation? My actually like big thing now that I've been thinking about is that Bionicle could almost do really well as like an anime. As weird as that might sound, I think animation has a lot more leeway with like, you know, non-human characters. I don't know. That's just an idea. You know, what would G3 look like is another question. What if Bionicle 22 wins? Bionicle and rock bands like All American Rejects. Like you guys saw, I just had fun doing like every time a character says Machinui, every time a character says Metronui. I just like uploaded this for fun yesterday. My top sets, Lego and McDonald's, because there was like that whole thing. The Bionicle Dream is a topic video I want to make, and I don't know if you guys can attest to this, but I've been on the Facebook group today, and it's like everyone has this dream. You wake up and like you were in like a Lego store and they had new Bionicles. It's like every Bionicle fan has this dream. It's kind of crazy, actually, at least a couple times a year. So I want to make a video about that. It'd be fun. My favorite years, you know, top Titans, top Toa. Like I want to do like a movie wins and movie sins for like all the Bionicle movies and like kind of go through them. I want to go over, you know, just so many ideas. A lot of really cool ideas. Bionicle being an allegory for like cancer survivors. It's actually a thing Christian Faber has gone into recently about one of the reasons why it's called the Biological Chronicle. It's because he was like taking pills and medication when he was fighting like a brain tumor. And he thought, what if those were like little robots inside me, little like heroes? And I'm like, I would love to make a video just about that. So those are examples of like kind of the videos I'd want to make. And then other than that, I'd love to just do, you know, overall long discussion topics and streams like this. Obviously, like this is I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I see why it takes a lot out of people. You know, it's hard. But yeah, those are just a couple ideas I have. All right, Urbiel's awesome. I still have my old Bionicles. My brother gave me his collection from 2001, 2005. Out of all of them, I've had no joint breaks after all these years. That's pretty great. Brother from another brick. I think your voice, you could totally voice act. Yeah, I mean, I do too, you know, but it's work. You got to put yourself out there. It ain't no joke, and it's definitely its own beast, just like normal acting. Guinness Walker, is there somewhere I could DM you so I can put you in contact with the Machinui Rising team? This is the thing. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, YouTube was very easy as far as like messaging people. There was literally a DM thing. Like I'm so confused why that's not a thing anymore. I guess because for channels that have like millions of subscribers, like a like freaking PewDiePie or something, he can't, you know, read messages, you know, an open message form. But I'm a little upset that like they don't have a cutoff for like minimum or like maximum like subscribers allowed to have like an inbox, because I want to message YouTubers, but you can't really without just like commenting on their videos. So once again, where was this? Yeah, so Guinness Walker, all I would say is DM me on Instagram, maybe. My Instagram handle is at the Zach Cap. That's TEH, the Zach, ZACH, then Cap, KAP, which is short for Kaplan, my last name, the Zach Cap. That's my Instagram, and that's where I'm on talking to people often. Other than that, I do have like Facebook, but I feel like I don't need to give you guys my Facebook. I have an email too, zkaplanfilm@gmail.com. That's Z like Zach, Kaplan, Kaplan, film, FILM @gmail.com. Feel free to email me there, anyone, if you guys want to just get talking. That's my email. I'm putting it out there because I feel like that's the only way we can do this nowadays. Yeah, YouTube doesn't have a DM thing. At least I don't think so. Someone let me know if that's like there's a way I can access that feature, but I'm pretty sure they took that away like 10 years ago. It's super weird. It was literally, that was the way I got into YouTube, was I would message people, like message channels that I liked and respected and wanted to do collabs with on YouTube. And it's not a thing anymore from what I know. Best Girl, I agree. 2008 sets were a little off. Yeah, I agree. The Dead Lost 07. 2008 was the hypest Bionicle year still. Technically it was. By the story point and plot point, it was. Also says, in terms of story at least. Yep, I look. Exactly. Preaching to the choir. Alex409. Hey, man. Glad you're here. Odd Dude. Should definitely check out Nitron. He's posted some 3D animation recently. Also, Perry animates things. That's P-E-R-I animates things. This is a YouTuber that has done essentially Matanui online game animations, flash animations himself, and they are gorgeous and beautiful and look just like, if not better. And it's kind of cool. And I'm like, if you were to do that as like a series, like an anime series, like basically in the style of the Matanui online game flash like videos, I think that there's a lot of potential there. Like, it's a really cool way to tell stories. Like, it's just beautiful, some of the animations I've seen. But there's also like Avrok or Vara. I don't know. There's another guy that's done 3D animations, and they're really good too. They actually are. Paraka Avak, Matanui vs. Makuta 20 celebration set, right? 2 giant robots? I don't know about that. That'd be cool though. We'd all buy it. That's not the problem. That's not why G2 failed. People say G2 failed because Bionicle fans didn't show up. Dude, we showed up. We showed up in droves. We showed up twice over. Like, it was because because we still aren't enough to make these sets sell. They got to find a way to connect with young kids. This is another topic for another video, but I legitimately believe, and this is a bit controversial, I legitimately believe if they almost carbon copy did these Toas now, yeah, obviously us all grown up, we want like bendable limbs and stuff, and people love CCBS and whatever, that's cool. I legitimately believe they pretty much did this, like the Toa Mata, and they'd be cheap, it wouldn't be super expensive. They'd probably sell pretty well. I don't know. Just start the story over again. I don't care. Let's go. Let's do it. But I don't know. It's a controversial opinion, but I actually kind of wholeheartedly believe that in a way. Not totally, but in a way, I think that almost is a plausibility. How much was the giant Anua mask behind you? It was like, I don't know, it was like 200 something. It was a steal. They were like, the shipping cost almost as much as I bought that, or as I sold this to you, but whatever. I think whoever made like $50 off of it, they were just glad to get it. I'm sure it had been sitting in their garage forever. But yeah, I bought it for like $200, which is nuts because I've seen it on eBay again for like 500. Like, people are selling it for even more now. So I'm glad I have it. It has a couple scratches, but it's fun. I like it. I imagine one day I'll have like a Lego room or a Bionicle room, and I'll like hang it up, and just have it be like a piece in the room. That'd be great. Best Girl, Lamau, I have had that dream, right? We've all had that dream where we wake up in the middle of the night having like seemingly been in a Lego store where they release new sets, and you spent $500 on every set that you could find. You bought 2 of each. It's nuts. And usually my dreams are like, it's like classic sets, like it's a Tahoe or it's whatever, but like it's revamped, it's redone. BioTube, didn't know other people had the Bonkle dream, right? Dude, no, it's a thing. It's a theory. It's another topic video I want to make. Jagovic, I've had that dream so many times. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah. Malcolm Davis. It was kind of weird how the Netflix series ended with a definite ending before the line was officially canceled. It's because they knew. Yeah. They knew halfway through the release of G2, or of part 2 of G2, the like second. They knew. It's too bad. But I don't know. I'm really not the biggest fan of those sets. And I know a lot of guys are. I know a lot of YouTubers are. And they're like other BioTubers. I get it. I just don't. Something didn't click. I think Kopaka was my favorite of the revamped that 2015 year, like he looked pretty cool, but the gold armor just stood out and it didn't look great. Like it's too much gold. Like these guys didn't have gold all over them. I guess they thought like that would be a selling point. I don't know. Again, it's another conversation for another time. Dead Louse 07, Bionicle, Osmosis Jones are the same synopsis. Kind of. Except in Osmosis Jones, it's like 2 characters. But a little bit, I would say, potentially. Yeah, in a way. Yeah, that'd be a funny little like YouTube poop or like a little video to make. Tahumata 1888. One thing, Stay Bionicle was not canceled if what if G1 sets did use the ball joint skeleton system that Hero Factory introduced at 2011 when we got that year and Bionicle still continued. Let me read. If they did use a ball joint skeleton system that Hero Factory did in 2011 when we got that year and Bionicle still continued. So you're saying if G1 sets from the beginning did that? I mean, I don't think that's the reason why it was canceled. I mean, let's imagine. Yeah, it'd be great if it was still around. It's an interesting question. I think half the reason is just the story did get a little convoluted and it was hard for people to follow. I mean, that's just plain and simple kind of it. There's other contributing factors, Marvel, Star Wars. These are huge properties that kids love, and they were buying those sets. It only makes sense, but it does take away a lot of the originality from Lego. But then, they have they had Ninjago and Chima and all that other stuff. So they definitely still tried. That's an interesting idea, Tahumata 1888. I do think it's fun to think about that. Odd dude. They removed the messenger on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to me. It's just like, I get how like you'd remove it for people that have maybe a couple 100,000 to maybe 1 million and more subscribers, because that's just too much, to talk to people. But for YouTubers like us, it would be a really nice tool to have. I'm just so weird. Tarkura's channel of random things. Will you support the Miramax Trilogy art book petition? I just recently watched the TTV interview with them. It's great, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, they interviewed all 3 of the original creators that were brought on. It's a really cool story, actually. Pretty fascinating stuff. Pretty nuts. They do a lot of good work there at TTV. The fact that they were able to get in contact with them and interview them, it's cool. And yeah, they were talking about supporting this Miramax Trilogy art book petition. Yeah, I mean, I'd buy it. I don't think Lego would sell it. I don't think Lego. That's the only thing we just sadly have to realize is like money talks, and Lego just doesn't think they would make money off of an art book. But if someone were to make it and release it on, let's say, Etsy or any of these sites where fans are making things, like I said, Redbubble is where I got this shirt. Lego would never make this. This is doper than anything I think Lego would make as far as like a t-shirt is concerned. Like the original 12 Kanohi, it's awesome. And I think in that sense, yeah, I would support that. I'd love to buy a book if a fan wanted to make that and release it on Etsy, and I'd pay however much money it'd cost to support that guy who made it. Wombat Combat Pictures. Howdy, Zach. Hey, I remember you. Odd Dude 21. Chicks dig giant robots. Yes, they do. It's funny. The Borak Man. Hello. Cool to see you back on YouTube. Good to see you, man. Just Josh. I do plan on making a PC or rather building one. Wait, that's the same thing. I mean, yeah, that's what everyone's doing now. I'm surprised I don't have one yet. All my roommates do now. It makes sense to have a PC, especially in like the film industry. If I'm editing or doing anything, PCs are the way to go. PC gaming is the way to go. Like PC, you just have less problems, and it's like a giant Bionicle in a way. It's like a Lego building a PC. Pretty fun. Brother from Another Brick says, to be fair, G2 bombed. Yeah, I think this day and age, people look at that Lego brand as buildable sets. For Bionicle to succeed, they're going to have to market it as action fig audience. Actually, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that statement. I also think, to not spread themselves too thin, one of my other things I want to talk about in future videos is that they just focus on a TV series on a Netflix, obviously a lot better, well-produced than what they did first. Still plan to be making the sets, but like get people involved in the story, and then they'll show up for these figures. But there's a lot of truth to what you're saying here. And G2 did pretty much a bomb. I think the first wave was okay, and then it just kind of fell off. I think the second wave of G2 is just literally a rehash of the first wave, just weirder, and their masks are weirder, and just, I don't know. I was not the biggest fan. But It definitely bombed. And yeah, a lot of people see Lego as building buildable sets. And to be fair, the CCBS system that was introduced with like the later Hero Factory and G2 Bionicle feels a little more like Lego. Like I'll have to say, like the original Toy model, like Bionicle up until like 2008, 2009 even, didn't feel like Lego. But I liked that. And I guess that's a big problem for the Lego company now because of the Lego movies, and everyone still thinks of it as like a building block system. Yeah, it's definitely a good point to make. Paraka Avak, I have that dream every night. Dude, I probably have it every 3 or 4 months. I might have it tonight because I'm talking so much Bionicle with you guys. Aditya Sundaram writes, I've had it too. Lol. Yeah, if you guys don't know, we're talking about the dream of like you wake up and you're like in a Lego store at Toys R Us or at a Walmart and there's new Bionicles on shelves. And it feels so real. What's weird is like there's dreams where like I'll have them and I'll know it's a dream and I'll wake up or whatever. These are dreams that I have that feel Teflon, like real, like you can feel it. It's kind of nuts. Robin Strickland, I've never had the Bionicle dream. I guess it's coming soon now that I'm getting back into it after all these years. Yeah, get ready, brother. Turkey Dinner Chewy, glad you're back. Odd Dude 21. It never fully made sense to me how the Bionicle were organisms of Matanui, but they lived outside of him. It never made sense to me how Bionicle were organisms outside Matanui, but they lived outside of him. If what you're saying is, so like they lived outside and inside. They originated from outside. I guess if that helps make sense. I see what you're getting into. It makes sense to me eventually. It's really, you have to really think about it. Like there's a gravity within the giant Bionicle Matanui robot that's pulling them and making it work. And Matanui, the island, and Voyanui, the island, were out of his body. They came out up out of the ocean floor up to, above sea level. It's hard to explain if that's what you're asking. I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking, but it's definitely a little bit hard to make sense of until you realize, it's magic. It's science fiction, science fantasy. Robin Strickland, you should do Quest for Matanui gameplay videos when it comes out. I'm so stoked. I'm going to bring that up in my first big video that I'm hoping to post tomorrow. We'll see. It's a lot of work, dude. Editing, this is easy, it's hard to keep talking, but it is a lot easier to just live stream. But yeah, I'm excited for that, dude. If they are able to make the Matanui game, Quest for Matanui game, as good as it looks, the soundtrack sounds great. The visuals, the way they do the mask powers. I don't know if you guys know what Robin's talking about, but it's really cool. It's just a fan-made video game, and it looks awesome. So definitely look that up. The Quest for Matanui remake that they're doing looks incredible, dude. The Deadless 07, they only ever lived outside of him after Pterodax busted his head open and made a way out. Yeah, he's correct. Praka Avak, G1 story was better than G2 because of the mystery of the story. Yeah, they should have told less F and AF. Yeah, the reason people like Halo is because of the lore. Totally. It's definitely a mystery, but it's also depth. They just didn't have depth. Not even just the fact that it's 2D animation. I don't think that's the reasoning per se. There just wasn't really a lot of depth, not a lot of character. Did all the voices in those little 2D animations. I don't know. There's a lot of problems. Brother from another brick. Also, some people in the Bionicle community are brutal. I'm currently on the top of Reddit and Facebook due to Bionicle controversy. Man, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's their Bionicle community. It's not like Star Wars community, actually. Let's talk about that for a second. If you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are Star Wars fans. It more than ever after The Last Jedi, you could tell it's just so toxic. There's black and white against each other. It's kind of sad to watch the community cannibalize itself. I will say that I don't see as much Bionicle fan on Bionicle fan hate. I do see it definitely, probably about 2 or 3% of the whole 100% of it happening. But between when Bionicle fans are told or hear that they're wrong, or that like Bionicle failed because blah blah blah, or hear any shit talking on Bionicle, they become extremely defensive because it's not that popular. It's a very niche thing, and the fact that it has such deep lore and characters, 4 movies, comic books, all this stuff, it's an important thing to people in their childhood, but it almost feels more special because it's not a Star Wars or a Marvel. It's not this huge thing that everyone knows about that's hugely popular. And so in a way, I think they become more defensive, and that's why like they can be pretty brutal on people that throw any sort of shade at Bionicle. That just even the slightest, even if you're just like, G2 failed, blah blah blah, like Bionicle shouldn't be brought back, or Bionicle shouldn't be the 90th anniversary set. That alone, I might disagree and be like, man, I don't know, you should give Bionicle a little more props and stuff, but like I would never. There's some like fans in the Bionicle community that just become deadly when they hear that stuff. And like I said, I think your reason is that it's unlike a Marvel or a Star Wars, and it's just as personal for people as those brands, but because it's not as popular, it feels more special. And so the moment, anyone is talking shade or has anything to say, the Bionicle community can be pretty brutal, which is nuts to me because Bionicle's about like, heroes, and it's about, unity and duty and like all these things. It's like, reflect before you post hateful like words and comments, even if it's controversial, the thing that you're responding to on Reddit or Facebook, reflect back on like the themes and messages in the franchise itself. And you should maybe, take a step back, look from the outside in and be like, maybe I shouldn't be acting this way. I don't know. But yeah. Zane Holloman, hey man, grew up with your videos. I have a lot of memories watching those old reviews and Bionicle content. Really glad to see you back. Thanks, man. It means a lot. Talamata, also, if you have the time to watch videos on YouTube, check out my videos, especially the character voices I choose for some characters like Kama. That's interesting. Definitely will. If I see it around, I'll check it out. Jagovic, many kids I went to school with didn't even know Bionicle was Lego. Interestingly, the G1, the Lego logo, was usually somewhere on the lower on the canisters. For G2, the logo was right next to Bionicle. Interesting. Might have been good or bad. I don't know. Odd 21. Yeah, like Matanui is the island planet, but also a robot himself. It makes sense, but it was always a bit confusing. Exactly, man. One of the great things about Bionicle, but maybe one of the potential downfalls, like just confusing lore, and in a way, like not everything totally making sense. But then again, look at Marvel. Just like Infinity Stones having all these powers, you snap and people disappear, makes sense. Not really, but you what is disbelief? You stretch your disbelief or whatever. Oh, this is nuts. I have not done an hour of just straight talking like this before. This is a lot of work. Okay. Jagovic. Quest for Matanui looks amazing. Yeah. Can't believe they got a hold of. Yeah, Tony Wedgwood. Right? The original voice, like, narrator of Bionicle, like, commercials. Oh my God. It's iconic. Malcolm Davis. Were they still in space during the events of the second movie? Were they still in space? Yeah, I think so, or at least I think he was on Spherus Magna, and then when Makuta came in and basically knocked him out, put him to sleep, he landed on Aquamagna or Magna. Maybe he was on Aquamagna when it happened too. He was like kind of just wandering around the waters, checking out life and creatures, and then it happened. But I think it's very possible that in Legendary he was still like in space. It wasn't on Aquamagna because I think he fell to Aquamagna, passed out or whatever. Don't totally know, but it's a good point. Deadless 07, do you have any speculations about where the yesterday quest was going? Not really. It's unfortunate. A lot of loose ends with Bionicle that were rushed and then just left loose. I do feel bad for Greg Farshi. I think he didn't want out. If Bionicle had kept going, he would have kept riding. You could obviously tell, but what are you going to do? Zahir Kurami, the Bionicle meme game is on point. This is true. Even outside of the Bionicle fan community. I don't know if you guys watch PewDiePie, but he like did a meme review where there was Kanye West's like new shoes, and there's a meme that was like Bionicle feet, and it's like it's funny. Like everyone still knows Bionicle is like someone nostalgic for Bionicle. Like Bionicle memes are on point for sure. Piraka Avak. The island of Matanui is a mask for Matanui robot, basically. Guinness Walker. All right, man. I've sent you an email. Looking forward to hearing back from you. Great. The Dead Last 07. There's too much elitism in Bionicle mocking these days. I guess. But it's just like any other fan community. Like we don't all need to be mockists. And those who are, they're good. But like if anyone is trying to be creative with Technic, Lego Technic, and Bionicle pieces, I don't think anyone should be talking shade. Obviously, yeah, some look better than others. Some are more impressive than others. But if you're doing it, unless it's like a joke, like if people are doing it, yeah, they shouldn't be so elitist. I agree. Brother from another brick, you bring up great points. Yeah, totally. And I think it's something to think about. I'm gonna write it down. It's like a good idea for another just Bionicle video. Yeah, why can Bionicle fans be toxic sometimes, much alike Marvel, DC, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting topic. Again, that's what I'd love to do with these videos coming up. Guinness Walker, as somebody who's always a fan but only joined the community a few months ago, wow, some of the toxic gatekeeping I see is quite sad, especially with this whole 90th anniversary thing. It opened a whole can of worms. I see it. I don't see it everywhere. But again, I think that all has correlation or has to do with the fact that Bionicle is such a tiny, like it was huge, but it's like such a somewhat not as popular, more unknown than like a Marvel, a Star Wars, a DC, that the fans are that much more protective of it and defensive of it. Yeah, I think that's just something to keep in mind when talking about that. If that gives you any sort of insight, um, you know. In truth, I prefer Warner Brothers to distribute Bionicle both generations instead of Disney. I hate that company. Again, that's a whole nother topic. All I'll say about Disney is like it's a love-hate relationship because they make things that I love, that I grew up with, and occasionally they, hit it out of the park, and then sometimes they just do despicable things as a company. But that's because it's a big company. Like, what are you going to do? But yeah, it's another conversation. Suspension of disbelief. Thanks, Wombat Combat. Yeah, suspension of disbelief. You have to have that with anything in like fantasy. Wombat Combat at Malcolm Davis. He crashed into Aquamagna after the Great Cataclysm. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Praka Avok. Am I the only person who thinks that Toei and Nika are completely different because of their individual personalities? They do have very individual personalities. Totally. It's part of their charm. I would actually agree. And also because Greg Farshi was probably just becoming a better writer, after doing all of those books. I mean, if you look at the Metro Nui Saga is interesting. It's a prequel. I think in a way, it's one of the reasons why some fans and kids dropped off because it just wasn't with the Toei that they liked. But when you read those books, while you might come off a little meandering, the time spent with the Toei Metro is kind of fascinating, and really they go into deep character studies. And I think Greg Farshi took that and brought it to the Ignition books or the Ignition story like tenfold. Really interesting. Yeah, it's like I really want to just sit down and it's too bad there's like someone who was trying to make audiobooks for these, and it's tough to do that. It's too bad there aren't audiobooks because that's kind of how I read now. Because I would love to just do every Bionicle book, start from the beginning, and be like, wow, because I just remember it being pretty solid. Amajanui Tales, hello there. Hello Vice, hello there. Hi, hello there. Guinness Walker, MNR Raid, just kidding. Guinness Walker, I agree with you. The best sets are 2001 and 2004. Lovis, which storyline do you like the most? It's a good question because I like all the stories. I don't know. I've heard good points for everything. The bar call is actually interesting because like the Toa Nuva lose their powers, kind of like Spider-Man 2, where like loses his powers, and it puts them in an interesting position. I think the Mask of Light saga is pretty cool, but it's mostly about the Matoran, which is fascinating. Um, the Toa are basically just trying to fight the Rockshioff while the Chronicler, Jawler and Takua, they're like, the Herald, they're like finding the mask. Um, the Hordika is probably lower on the list, not because it's bad. It's actually still a pretty decent film too. Legends of Metro Nui is cool. I'm just trying to think. Honestly, the Mask of Light or Mask of Life, the Mask of Life, Mari Nui story is super cool. I just like that it's underwater. It's honestly, it's hard actually, really, for me to pinpoint Low Vice or my favorite because they're all pretty good. Like they're all really cool. Like I said, yeah, they're all really, really cool. Favorite Bionicle villain. I mean, Makuta Pterodax is awesome. I think the Paraka are nuts. Botar, if he would count him as a villain, is really interesting. The Shadowed one, super interesting. I mean, and essentially, like, I saw a video that went into this, but like the Great Beings themselves are like villains. I think the TTV brought this up in like top Bionicle villains. They're pretty bad. One of my other favorite, I don't know. I like Zocton because Zocton out of all the Paraka like was a Skagti and like or Skakti, and he had been around for a long time and was actually a big player in like the stuff leading up to. So actually, Zocton is a little underrated, I think. Really cool villain, but of course I have to say Makuta Pterodax. He was behind everything, and like there were so many moments where you were like, oh my god, he's back, and really cool. It's like saying Darth Vader, or Palpatine is your favorite villain in Star Wars. Like, yeah, but I mean, he is the guy. He is the big bad. Guinness Walker. Also, I'm at 10%, so I will need to grab my charger in a moment. I understand people tune in and they see that it's an empty frame, but I will be back. I think I'm gonna have this. We're at 1:07 now, so I'm gonna have this go for at least another 40 minutes. I'm having a blast. I like talking with you guys. We'll keep it going. But I'll be doing that in a moment here. I'm at 10%. In a couple of minutes here, I've got to grab my charger. If we told you we were doing stop motion for every story from 2008, would you be most excited for? Which would you be most excited for? The Codrex, like them flying on the giant, spaceships and vehicles and getting into the Codrex and putting all the pieces in and, finding out that, Matoran turned into Borak or the Alpha Matoran turned into Borak. That's nuts. That was like, what? It was the way they described it. I've read the book, ages ago, 12 years ago, easily. But like the visuals that the Toamata had when they found that these Matoran were being turned into Borak is so like haunting and like probably one of the darkest things in Bionicle. Toamata 1888. Did Avengers 3 and 4 remind you of Bionicle 2008, Golden Talon, Thanos, and Tony use Infinity Stones? A little bit. I mean, yeah. It's a story as old as time. Collect the stuff, use it together to accomplish a goal. Yeah, definitely a little bit of that in there for sure. Again, he says by that Thanos won Infinity War and Stark used the stones in Endgame. Yeah, like Makuta won, and then they came back. Yeah, 100%, and they did it before Endgame and Avengers. But it's like, who are you gonna tell? Are you gonna be like, actually, Bionicle did it before the Avengers movies? No, what are you gonna do? It's a funny, interesting point, though. It's great. It's good writing. Green Farshi knew what he was doing, man. It's like so much, potential in Bionicle that was there. Botar equals lawful evil. Yeah, pretty evil. Zocton is the best. Agreed. Yeah, Guinness Walker. It's underrated too. I mean, the big Bionicle community understands, but Tahumata 1888. I favorite Zocton in Mantax. I'm surprised he's not the Baraki trader. Yeah, totally. All right. It looks like we don't have any. Okay. We just got another comment. Baraka Ivak. I want to have an aquarium based around Bionicle 2007 with the 2007 says underwater. I think that'd be really cool, right, dude? And you get like some bubble effects. You toss in some fish, dude. That's awesome. Oh my god, you get Gadonka sitting in there. Oh my god. Nocturne, dude, because at night Nocturne would glow in the dark. I just wonder if the Lego would like, if that stuff would like fall apart, you know, being there, or if it, like plastic would mess with the ecosystem of the aquarium. Interesting idea though. Guinness Walker. So best set. That's so hard, man. I think that's. I'll definitely be doing like a top sets video, I think, but that's hard to say. Trying to Skype late for old time's sake. Later for old time's sake. I mean, I do this. I definitely want to get into like Discord servers and trying to get us all onto a Discord. I know TTV does that sometimes. I think they also have like Patreon. Yeah, it's you know, I love that. I love to do that, obviously. 1 second here. I know we were at like 28, almost 30 viewers at one point. We're at 12 right now. Oh, I'm about to die. Let me grab my charger real quick, brothers. Don't go anywhere. If anyone in the chat is like, where'd he go? Here, let me type. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Braka Avak, if you want to go ahead and explain more what you're talking about, I think that's really interesting. Does anyone remember the countdown for the Bionicle 2006 movie? And then it just disappeared one day. I don't. If that was a thing, maybe could you explain that further? Like type it out and message me because I'd love to talk about that because I don't remember that. If there had been, I would, because another movie I would have been so excited about. So I don't remember that. A countdown for a 2006 movie. That would have been amazing, dude. To see the Baraka, the Ignition storyline. Damn, that would be cool. All right, I'll be back in 1 second, guys. All right. 14 people. I'm still here, brothers. Yeah, you guys can look at for a story. Yeah, okay. If it was a countdown for a movie, I was about to be like, I don't remember that. All right. Oh, my computer isn't dead. Don't die, computer. All right. All right. Are we getting charged? 15. All right. Yeah, charging 5%. Very nice. Okay. What are people talking about? If there's supposed to be a 2006 film, they need a main character that did Takua and Mask of Light, Bakama and Lamantanui and Matown, Web of Shadows. Interesting. You know, I do wonder like who would be like one of the. There were the Matoran, you know. We did have the Matoran characters, and they were important. I don't know. I personally, I think Jollar would be great because you'd be coming. You know, the first trilogy ended, and then Taku was kind of out of the picture. But then Jollar is, I would say, he's the main character of that Toa team. It always seems to be the red Toa, you know. There's Matoro as well, kind of a right hand man. But I think they could have made Jollar. I mean, I think a fourth Bionicle movie after the original trilogy being like set, you know, on Voyanui would have been interesting to have just the Toa team. I really don't think they could have gone wrong there. And have it go back and forth between them and the Paraka. The Paraka are actually really fascinating characters as far as like their dynamic. They're kind of goofballs, kind of, all for one for all, but the opposite of that, where they're all kind of for each other. It's definitely an interesting thing to think about. I think they could have focused on the Toa for sure. All right, what else? Guinness Walker, who would you say is the best mockist you've seen? I don't know their name, but there was one that would go to BritCon every year, and it was a girl. She would make these giant like dragons, these like Bionicle dragons, and they were just epic and just so cool. And I just totally forget her name. She did some stop motions of them too, just like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I don't study up on mocks as much because I'm a big story and lore guy. That's just kind of how it's always been, and I love just the original sets. But there are a handful that I've liked that, if I had the time now, I would like put together a list for you and find the photos. But off the top of my head, I can't really say. But yeah. Tahu Mata 1888, as well as a main priority from the beginning of Act 1 all the way to Act 3 in full circle. Yeah. I mean, that is a thing that you have to do. And they definitely left on a cliffhanger. Those the Hordika wasn't as much of a cliffhanger, but all those others were very much a cliffhanger. Or no, the Hordika did have a cliff. Like the Hordika story to line in the comics did have a cliffhanger, and in the books, Makama literally goes, "Matanui is dying now," and it's like, the fuck, wow. All right, that you remember. Okay, Guinness Walker. So, what's the story with you posting the original Bionicle Star animations? I've heard some confusion as to if you had made them yourself. Oh, no. I posted them because they were by a stop motion artist. Again, I'm blanking on the name. It's been a long time. But really cool stop motion artist on YouTube. He did like action figure stop motions as well. Like he did a bunch of cool stuff. He did like baby Iron Man. He like made his baby like a stop motion Iron Man suit. And it was a really cool video. He was just like popular on YouTube. And Lego Company reached out to him to do the animations. I posted them because I thought they were cool, and like I didn't monetize them, because like it's not my content. But no, if there was confusion of how I'd make them, I mean, hey, that's nuts because I definitely didn't. The sets that guy was able to, not the Lego sets, but these sets he was able to, that he was given, like the set pieces, like were pretty spectacular. Those were cool animations as much as like it was a shit story, and honestly just really sad way to end Bionicle. Honestly thought so at one point. Proka Avak, I think it would have been Matoro with what they were doing in his story. You know what? Yeah, I can see that, but it's interesting because you'd have Jollar, who's like a main character in the Mask of Light, which is like, he'd be like, wasn't he the main character in that? But I guess he could be like the Jollar was to Takua, now it's Jollar is to Matoro. And actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Matoro could basically be like Vakama was in the 2 Metro Nui movies. Like he basically, yeah, it ends with his sacrifice. Yeah, actually, I kind of agree with you there, Praka Avak. That totally works. Dude, I want a Mario movie so bad. I've watched that commercial so many times, right? Oh, it's like they basically could have made one that, why couldn't, expensive. What are you going to do? Expensive voice acting, company distribution. Movies are expensive. Even straight to home video, even animation. It's expensive stuff. But, I'm glad we have those animations at least, so we were able to kind of build an idea of what the world looked like when we read the books. Tao Mata 1888. Would you prefer to be a director if they did a live action Bionicle film instead of a Michael Bay? Or like basically be like Michael Bay? Yeah, of course. I would love to do that. And it's a topic for another day. But it's becoming harder and harder for me to see a way they would do a live action Bionicle movie. The only way you could do that is you film in like real locations, but then also CGI locations. You kind of do like an Avatar thing, or like a Jungle Book or a Lion King, like the new ones, sort of thing, where you do like, motion capture. But a big problem with doing a Bionicle live action is that it's just hard for characters, robots, and with masks on to emote. was the whole reason why I think Legend Reborn was a little weird, and yet like the original three Bionicle films were a little bit successful. Is they make the mask kind of like move and have a sort of like rubbery texture, which is weird, to look at when you compare it to like the toys themselves. But you need characters to emote and have eyebrows and up and down and have all this stuff. So in a way, like I was saying earlier in this stream, I think in the style of an anime, I think would probably be like the best way to tell Bionicle animated, honestly, to be quite honest. Otherwise, live action, it would be 10 times as expensive. We're talking just as expensive as any of the Marvel movies. It'd be so expensive, and I just don't know if the return would be there. Firstly, it'd have to start off as a successful Lego theme again. Because they own it. You can't just look. If I had a billionaire, right, just randomly overnight, $1 billion, I would be able to and would double down on just making a Bionicle movie or story or anime series, because I have enough money to pull off getting all the people I would need, and there's still a chance that it's not good or successful because it's really hard to do anything like that. But 100%, that's what I would do. If I had that, I would have the resources and the capabilities. Would it be good or not? That depends. But if I had the money, hands down, and I could, because money talks and money gets you whatever you want. If you had like $1 billion, I'm not even saying I would need $1 billion. Maybe, I don't know, let's say a couple $100 million, maybe $500 million. But still, I mean, you need a lot of money to do that stuff. What are you going to do? If it made no money, I'd be like, whatever. Money well spent, All right, where were we? Guinness Walker. Yeah, those physical sets were impressive. Have you seen the work of Borak Man? He's also on our team. I haven't, but I hope I do in the future. Paraka Avak. Motoro's death was big for Bionicle. Definitely. In fact, an interesting thing about Bionicle that I think is, you see it less in even Marvel comics. Characters always come back in Marvel comics, right? Bionicle, when a character's dead, character's dead, like most of the time. Leecon, dead. Motoro, dead. Like they can't really come back. I guess you had Jal or the Mask of Light, a couple of other instances, but there were reasons why. The Mask of Light brought him back, or the Mask of Life, but even the Mask of Life didn't bring Motoro back. So death is pretty finite in the Bionicle universe, and I think that's a really interesting concept for robots. You'd think just rebuild them, right? Well, no, they're biomechanical. They're I heard it best. Someone explained it like Nick on Planet Ripple. He's a YouTuber, and in his Lego review on Bionicle, he was it's like an inside-out Terminator, basically, is what Bionicles are. Sorry if someone asked before, but what's with the giant Picari? Yeah, I was getting unemployment government stimulus money over the last almost a year now, 10 months, I guess. And I saw this on Bionicle Universe, an Instagram user who posts old Bionicle memorabilia and props and stuff. And I saw that this was on eBay for $180 or something, plus $50 shipping or whatever. And I was like, damn, I really want. I was like, I need that. I'm going to buy that, whatever. I'm assuming it was at Toys R Us or the Lego store. That's all I could assume. This is a response to Audit. Have you seen Noah Productions videos? Hopefully he has. I mean, that while I was gone from YouTube, that guy was just churning out so much content, so many stop motion animations and everything. Yeah, and I like this giant Picard because I think, I don't know, kind of ties it together. I mean, you can see I'm slowly building out. I got Mando's ship. I have a Bionicle hat there on Mando's helmet. And I know that's not Bionicle, but I'm slowly trying to build out my little studio here that I'll be making videos from. By that I mean 2007 film. Luis Ramirez, it'd be too much like Transformers movies. Yeah, it would be. But another thing about the Transformers movies, and why I think people don't like them a lot, but why they've had to do what they've had to do, is it's hard to make a movie just about Transformers. As much as we'd love a War on Cybertron movie, you need human beings in your movies for people to connect. People done it before without humans, but you really do. Like modern audiences, they want to see themselves in the movie, and that's why all the Transformers movies have to have these weird human characters in it. It's why these Godzilla movies, like Kong and Godzilla and everything, people are like, too much humans, too many humans, you know. Well, it's because it's the selling point of the movie. It's how the movies make money. You need human characters to connect with. Unfortunately, as much as like us, the fans, know that if a Transformers movie came out and all the characters were just the Transformers, it'd be awesome. We'd love it. We'd see it 5-6 times, even if it wasn't that great. It'd just be fun to watch. But the fact is, it's a business. They need a big audience, and the audiences like to see themselves within the movies, and so you need humans. And so with Bionicle, if you did it live action, you almost would need humans, and I think that is a big no-no. I would probably, maybe there's some controversial opinions out there, but I think most likely every Bionicle fan would agree that you can't really put human beings in Bionicle. It would just ruin it. If you did that, you'd have to make just every character basically a human being, which is actually interesting to bring in on my adaptation video that I do about the ideas I have. It's definitely a thing you could do. Just make everyone human, and they just have these masks that are mask powers. But it does defeat a lot of the purpose, the aesthetic, and the creation of Bionicle by doing that. All right. Is the Red Star Deus Ex Machina? Is it a Deus Ex Machina? I don't know if it's a Deus Ex Machina, because it's still like a thing that it's like, apparently it was like a starship or like a lab that the great beings were on. Like, I don't know if it was exactly a planet, but it was like a station. So it's not. It's, in a way, I guess it is, but it's kind of like the creators looking down on what's going on and intervening with small little moments, of Bionicle history. It's kind of cool, but I guess you could say it was a Deus Ex Machina. There we go. Deus Ex Machina. Having trouble talking. Hour 26 minutes. This is nuts. Let's keep going. Tomate 1888. Death. Right. Tell that to the Red Star that revives half the characters. Again, yeah. Not like half the characters. A decent amount, but not like, I don't think it was like half the characters. But again, as much as you might call it a Deus Ex Machina, it is in a way like explained that, or Greg Farshi explained, that it was like the great beings kind of meddling with what was going on. I don't know. A bit of a Deus Ex Machina if it was used basically to just move the plot forward, for sure. But yeah, one can have their opinions on that for sure. Guinness Walker, not a bad price at all for that. Yeah. Guinness Walker, best of the trilogy. Best trilogy is hard. Most nostalgic is Mask of Light. It was the first movie ever. I watched that movie like 8 times a day for a year. Literally, I would have that VHS fucking blasting. Oops, I swore. Shit. Whatever. Yeah, Deus Ex Machina definitely on the Red Star, and then Mask of Light. I don't know. Legends of Metro Nui is really a little more interesting, a little more deep. I don't know. I rewatched all of them recently a bunch of times, actually. I don't know. I think Mask of Light. I have to. I don't know. It's the music. It's the music's great in Legends of Metro Nui too, actually. And Web of Shadows actually has really cool character development between Mata and Vakama and all this, and kind of like a dark side thing, like Anakin style with Vakama. I don't know, man. Probably Mask of Light. Just, it's the characters I like the most. It's the Island of Matanui, but they all have their ups and downs. All right. What Humanical, right? That Brad Deemer. It's not that you need human beings; it's that you need real characters. The weakness of the base films is that the Transformers were never real characters in those films. For sure, I would agree, and I think filmmakers would agree. But audiences need human beings. It's a selling point, unfortunately. Like, they need someone to go along the ride with. They need to be in someone's shoes. As much as I think, if you do it right, you can do that with a Bumblebee or an Optimus or anyone, but yeah, it's tough, because that's a good point, no doubt. The weakness is that they were never real characters. Totally. Dennis Walker, best way to put humans into Bionicle would have great beings turn out to be humans. And I think for a while they were almost hinting at that, but I don't exactly know. There is a theory out there, I don't know if you guys have read, that humans do kind of exist in the Bionicle universe in some way. I don't know the full extent. I can't exactly recall, but I'm sure I'll read it again. Karaka Avok, did you hear about the building size Lego tree? Lego is making out their home building. They put all the important themes over the years of branches. They have their Bionicle on one of the branches. That'd be great if they're. It's interesting, you know. Lego, you think it's Bionicles. Everyone knows. It's like everyone knows. What? Like, of course, acknowledge Bionicle exists. I don't know. I hope they do. It'd be great to see a photo of that. I'm sure it would be great to go to that place and see it. The Red Star's Brad Deemer. The Red Star is definitely Deus Ex, especially when you consider transformation of the toe in Nika. Yeah, but there's Deus Ex Machina and everything. What are you gonna do? Like, the Force is a Deus Ex Machina in Star Wars if you want to get into it, but whatever. I don't think it's a bad thing. Deus Ex Machina isn't a bad thing. It's like how people think fan service is like a bad thing. It's servicing the fans. It's a good thing. Deus Ex Machina, it's servicing the story. It's a good thing. People might think it's like cheap, like a cop-out. Like, maybe I can see that, but I don't know. I can let it slide. Luis Ramirez. Crazy how the Mask of Life movie was supposed to have gotten a sequel, right? Ugh. Gosh darn it. That is just too bad. Guinness Walker, why do you think Lego distanced themselves from Bionicle when it single-handedly kept the company from bankruptcy? I really don't know if it's as much as they distance it. They definitely do in some ways. I think because it doesn't totally represent the brand. If the brand is bricks and minifigs, you know, that's the charm, that's the brand, that's a big thing, more than ever in the last 10 years, which is a little unfortunate for Bionicle, is branding is everything for any company, for like Nike or Tesla or whatever. I don't know. Branding is quite literally everything. And unfortunately, like, I think Bionicle is just, it doesn't totally, which is why I think it's a little bit unlikely that the 90th anniversary will be Bionicle, as great as it was seeing Bionicle top the votes. This is something I'll talk about in my videos coming up. But yeah, why do I think they distance themselves from it? Because, and it is, yeah, right. It's a statement as old as Bionicle. Like, they saved him from bankruptcy. Everyone always says they saved from the brink of bankruptcy. Like, around if Bionicle hadn't saved them, for sure. I still think Lego might have been around because Star Wars sets would have picked up. I don't know. Definitely, Bionicle is one of the, if not the biggest reason Lego's around today, and it's just too bad that they don't acknowledge that as much as they should. Yeah, it's a whole conversation, and I don't exactly know the full reason, you know. Deadless07. Oh yeah, I played the Bionicle as a kid. I had the red one. Yeah, that's what everyone says. Or the white one, you know, or the Onua, the Toe of Earth one. Odd Dude 21. It made sense. The lore was that the great beings were humans who built them, as a nod to the fact that actually humans building the sets. That's cool. Brad Deemer. I believe in the story Bible they describe Cirrus Magna as a planet that could be Earth, right? Yeah. And that the great beings were implied to at least be incredibly similar to humans. Totally. That'd be awesome. Luis Ramirez. Why not Greg Farshi one day on a stream podcast Q&A? I'd love to. I just think I need to grow my audience. I don't think I'm at that level yet, and eventually I'd love to. You know, the reason why the Three Virtues is TTV is able to get like the original creators of the Bionicle movies is because they have like 62K subscribers, but also they have a bunch of people working on that channel, like, you know, over 5 or 6 people that, you know, log in and use the channel, and I think they all band together and work hard. They're able to accomplish a lot. So one day, dude, oh man, dude, that's my dream, is to interview Greg Farsi. It'd be like interviewing Stan Lee or George Lucas, you know, same thing. Biotube. So basically, Derringer. I don't exactly know what you're referencing, but okay. It's good to see you here, Biotube. I was like commenting on your videos recently. I like what you do. You post like daily, if not twice a day. That's how you do YouTube, for sure. Paraka Avak, why did Lego diss Bionicle in the first Lego movie? I don't know if it was a diss. I don't think it was a diss. I get how you could think it was a diss. When I watched the Lego movie in 2014, I was like a freshman in college, and they put Bionicle up there and a bunch of other things we don't need to talk about. Like really, for like half a second, I still like clapped and was like, "Oh shit!" Oh my god! Like in the theater, I liked it. They did that for us. I don't think they were taking shots. I think they made it a bit of a joke, which is too bad, I guess. Like I don't know. I don't think there's a reason to be too butthurt. I think the fact that we at all got a reference in that Lego movie for Bionicle is pretty great. Another thing that people might not know is in the Lego Movie 2's original script, which is just too bad, but it's too bad. They were gonna have Takanuva as like one of the side characters that helps Emmett in his quest. They were gonna have Takanuva in Lego Movie 2. It's like in the storyboards, the original storyboards for the film. If you look it up, I swear to God, look it up. Takanuva Lego Movie. You can find these sketches, and it's the same mask, it's everything. And it's like, oh my gosh, they were so close. That would have been awesome. But I think they had that because G2 was still active when they were writing the sequel. And then once G2 tanked, they were probably like, maybe not. It's too bad. All right. Guinness Walker, coming into the community, I see a lot of young people who got into Bionicle after it was canceled or its introduction to Series G2. Yeah, this is another whole conversation. And I've been reading about like how they're like kids 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, whose parents are like, where do I get these Bionicles? These kids are talking about Bionicles because they're looking on YouTube. They find Biomedia Project where they can play all the games and read all the comics. And it's definitely out there, and it's a thing. Kids like Bionicle still. And so parents are, costs a lot more, but you can buy like the original Toamata and all that stuff. It's just you're paying, buttloads of cash. We're talking like $100 for the original team minimum, unless you're really lucky. And that's like without the containers or the instructions. So, I've heard about that, and it's definitely a thing. Like Guinness Walker, I agree. That's like a thing right now. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver last year. There's actually a Bionicle reference in it, and their kid is in the back of the car playing with like one of the Skull Spiders or like a G2 set, and he's like, "Dad, what's Bionicle?" And like his dad totally puts him off and doesn't answer. But like for the whole scene in the car and then outside when like they're going through the divorce and like Scarlett Johansson takes him into her house, he's holding the Bionicle, and I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty nuts. Like they referenced that, and like that it goes to show like kids are still wondering what the hell are these toys, like where can I find them, what's the story. Definitely there. So I was gonna make a video like technically Bionicle was in an Oscar nominated film. Pretty funny. I don't think the red star is necessarily a bad thing, Brad Deemer, because its inclusion definitely weakens certain stakes on almost makes transformation of the Nika seem like, yeah. The Agori being the great beings is dumb, right? I don't know. I mean, they scrapped the idea. I don't think that's canon, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it would have made sense if we had 10 more years of Bionicle. Jonah S., for real. Brad Deemer. If I were to refine Bionicle story, I'd definitely either replace the red star or make it do a lot less. Maybe. I mean, it didn't do a lot for like the first 4 or 5 years, and then it became a big thing in the later half. Brad Deemer, if I were... Oh, no. Odd Dude 21. I think the mostly glossed it over in the movie because there's no longer any way any money to be made by saying, hey, kids, look at these cool Bionicles, and then kids would be able to get the sets. Yeah, I agree. Don't you mean Matoran like Velika? Guinness Walker, Mata 1888 says. I think, yeah, that's what it means. Guinness Walker, the Toa Mystica and Fantaka had terrible designs. Yeah, not amazing, not great. I didn't mind it, but not great. It's funny because that's when I started my like YouTube reviewing. Tahu Mata 1888, Guinness Walker, tell that to Lego. They may be rushed. Luis Ramirez, there's also those Bionicle memes out there, and that's a big factor to keeping it relevant. It's somewhat relevant. Like, people know about it still. For sure. And there's YouTubers who aren't BioTube community members that have made videos about Bionicle over the last like 2 or 3 years, because now that we're getting into 20 years, people start to think back on their lives as kids. And they will think about Bionicle, no doubt. Luis Ramirez. There's also those Bionicle. Yeah, sorry, I'm hour 40 minutes. We'll go to about 2 hours. We're at what, 1 hour 40 minutes, so another 20 minutes or so here, guys. And then I gotta shoot this video for tomorrow. BioTube. AliExpress and Hasbro have been making fake Bionicle to capitalize off Bionicle scarcity. I don't totally know this. Hasbro, I don't know about this. I mean, if you want to go ahead and email me this at zkaplanfilm@gmail.com. That's Z as in Zach, kaplanfilm@gmail.com. Any of the links to those, I'd be interested to check them out, because there's always been fake Bionicle. When Bionicle was around, you can go to like to China and go into a market where people are basically making, fake Bionicle. It's always been a thing. I wonder if it's still a thing. And how they make, like, do they find the molds? Do they make their own molds, for the plastic? That's so interesting. Odd Dude 21. Bionicle is in the background on Friends. Yeah, Bionicle is in Friends. Bionicle is in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Bionicle was in Malcolm in the Middle, like 2 or 3 episodes. Dewey's like playing with Onua and at Christmas. Like, Bionicle was in a lot of other places while it was around too. But I find it so interesting that in 2019, when Bionicle is long gone for about 3 years, it makes an appearance in an Oscar-nominated film. It's just so funny to me. And I'm assuming because that director very much, I'm a cinephile. I know a lot about movies too. Almost more than Bionicle. And actually, yeah, more than Bionicle. But like, apparently that director writes his movies is very personal. So I'm assuming he had a kid, probably when G1 was still a thing, that was liked Bionicle a lot. And so he just wrote it into the movie. Pretty fascinating. Paraka Abak. If they had made a Lego Movie 2 Takanuva set, I would have got so many of them. And they would have, dude. They would have. They would have had to. Like, all Lego Movie sets, pardon me, I'm just stretching. All the Lego Movie sets reflect characters in the movie, so they probably would have, dude. Too bad, man. Too bad. The Deadless 07, I think Greg said in the Q&A that the Great Beings were Clitorians. Whatever, dude. So it's just he kind of lost it at the end there, didn't he? I don't know. Lobot, he back. Yeah, I am, buddy. Zach is Zet Vortex. Zach is an American. Kaplan is Turkish name. Well, Zachariah can be also attributed to Jewish name. Kaplan is Jewish name. I think it was originally Kaplinsky. Polish, though, is the background of that, by the way, if you want to know. And my great grandpa's real last name was like Goldberg or Goldstein or whatever. I don't know. Not Turkish, though. At least I don't think. Pretty sure. Laxman, Balakrishnan, are you back on YouTube? I'm trying to be. I mean, obviously, I won't be doing this every day. I'd like to for the time being, I'm not really working too much, and Bionicle is a huge topic right now, and until the polls close on February like 5th or 6th, they reopen on the 3rd, but for like the 90th anniversary, I might as well keep uploading to keep the trend going. And ideally, I will at least for the foreseeable future be posting once a week at least. Twice would be great. Maybe a topic video once a week, and then one of these live streams once a week. I want to get to the point where my live streams have like the tipping feature, but that takes a long time. And I need a bigger audience. The sad matter is, I love that you guys are here, right? But the fact is, I lost not just hundreds, but potentially like 1,000 at least subscribers over the last 3 years. A lot of biotubers, and none of the new people subscribe to me. A lot of them subscribe to like TTV and a lot of these other YouTubers, Duck Bricks, a lot of other YouTubers. So I'm hoping that with the churning out content that I do over the next couple weeks, I'll be able to bring fans back. I mean, I'm not telling you guys to like spam the message boards per se, but if you want to spread the good word that I'm starting up again over the next couple weeks, that'd be great. But I think after I get a couple more solid videos under my belt and better like content, because this is just a live stream. Like, who's going to listen to 2 hours once this is done? I'm going to save it and probably upload it, but I need to really garner an audience again and nourish what I once had, and it's going to take time and a lot of work. Because I'm at 20K now. I'm assuming I could get to 40, 50 in a year, if I work hard. Back on YouTube. Christian Kim, I remember being a part of the BioTube community when I was in elementary school. How times have changed, right? Crazy. Zet Vortex, they do cheap, not so detailed molds in China. They do, yeah. Lego producers also in China. Yes, maybe they still have some of the molds. Maybe one day if Bionicle comes back, we have to get the molds back from China. That'd be so funny. Tagmata 1888, the reason Gelu and Malamar in the Legend Reborn is that they don't have story reason to integrate with Matanu. Otherwise, in abundance, Spider-Man 3 had their villains. Yeah, that could be a thing. Again, this whole it's not a topic on Bionicle, but Spider-Man 3 having like an overabundance of villains makes no sense. It didn't make it a bad movie. It's a bad movie because the director dropped the ball and the studio dropped the ball. You can have a bunch of villains. Look at Endgame and all these big movies that have been coming out. There's so many villains in movies nowadays sometimes, and they do it right, and they do just a fine job with it. The reason why the Spider-Man 3, it's not because it had overabundance of villains. There's so many villains in some of these new superhero movies, and they do fine. They're good. They make it work. The reason why The Legend Reborn isn't good because it's just not a good movie. Guinness Walker. So rate Legend Reborn off the top of your head. Out of 10, like a 5, maybe 5.5. And that's being generous because I like Bionicle. And I like Michael Dormer or whatever, the voice actor from Matanu. It was actually really well casted. And I think the animation can look pretty good sometimes, but then it's also weird. And like they feel like toys. Like the reason why the original trilogy, especially Mask of Light, is great is because not only is the music amazing, like on the level of like Lord of the Rings, amazing, but like it feels like a real world that's lived in, and these are characters with weight to them. They don't just feel like toys, which is funny because when I was a kid, I was like, they don't look like they're toys. And like when Legend Reborn trailers were coming out, I was like, they look like the toys. It's great. That actually isn't why it's great, when you start to really think about it. Guinness Walker, I'll be honest, had to resubscribe. Don't remember if I unsubbed. This was just a subbed on an old account. And dude, I'm sure that's another thing is like a majority of the 20K subscribers I do have are inactive accounts. I'm going to guess easily 10K, at least easily half are just inactive accounts. And then the other ones are accounts that people don't use, they use on the side. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be I have a long road ahead as far as rebuilding this YouTube channel. But with your guys' help, I think, and me posting semi-consistently, I think we can do it. Luis Ramirez, wait, but your channel is big enough sub-wise to get YouTube super chats, and members have friends fit 1K subs that have those features. So no, here's the thing. Yeah, I'm big enough to get super chats, but you're not allowed to unlock the feature of using super chats until I think you've live streamed like 10 hours or so or something like that. They need to see that you're consistent and that you have done this before they start to do that. I forget the exact. There's a couple YouTubers I follow that had 20K, 19K, and they had to do the same thing about a year ago. So I'm reaching that point, but I need to keep doing these live streams to get to, I think it's like 6-10 hours or whatever that you need to do to unlock the super chat feature, which would be great once I do that. Pigeon Productions. Now this is epic. Yeah, for those of you that are tuning in now, unfortunately, probably gonna have to head out in about 13 minutes. I have dinner and then I have another actual video I need to shoot on my cinema camera. But go ahead and start this stream from the beginning because there's a lot of good stuff in this video of 2 hours to listen to and hear about my life and my thoughts on things and what we're going to be doing going forward on this channel. All right. Pigeon Productions, though. Good to see you. BioTube. Sent has Bionicle. Nice. Thanks, man. I'll check my email for that. Guinness Walker. So is BioTube going to be a podcast or a live stream Q&As like this? It's a mix of everything. Eventually, podcasts would be great. But what's a podcast when it's just basically a YouTube stream? Like, I get it. Like, but a podcast is audio only and it's on podcasts. But to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, if you aren't huge, you have to pay to do it. And it's not really a conceivable thing at the moment. But live stream Q&A like this, I think weekly would be ideal. I'd love to do that. So let's keep doing it. But mainly, I do want to say that my focus is topic videos. I guess you could call them video essays where I talk like this, but to my cinema camera to my right, this really expensive camera, in higher quality, mashing in video and footage and reviewing Bionicle movies potentially, and just all sorts of topics I talked about earlier in this stream. All right. Guinness Walker, I got into a private Zoom event to meet the composer of the original trilogy. He's hosting it this weekend. Such excitement. Yo, can you email me the information? Literally email me that. Do whatever you can, Guinness Walker. zkaplanfilm@gmail.com. That's Z like Zach, KAPLANFILM film@gmail.com. Email me that because, oh my God, that would be such a treat to be a part of that, to hear that. Because I think Nathan First is the heart and soul of those movies. Like, yeah, there's voice acting, the animation's amazing, designs of the set, but 100% the music. It's like, I listen to that stuff all the time. It's so good. BioTube. The Legend Reborn is my favorite piece of Bionicle fiction outside of Montanui Online game. Really? Interesting. I mean, if you were at the right age and the right time, that makes sense. Outside of the Montanui Online game, though, I don't know. There's a lot of pretty good stuff, dude. Montanui Online game might be number one, though, man. It's nuts. I was replaying. That's what also kind of reinvigorated my passion for Bionicle. About a week or two ago, I was replaying, and I was like, damn, this is just so good. Monster movie game reviews. Hi back. Good to see you. Brad Deemer, even with superhero movies, there's always a clear main villain out of all the antagonists. Spider-Man 3 has a lot of villains focused on all of them once, leading to a major lack of focus. Sorry if I read that really fast. I can agree, but like this new Spider-Man 3, where they're bringing in Electro and Doc Ock, all these characters, I mean, we'll see where it goes, man. They might be able to figure it out, right? And then they're bringing back the old Spider-Mans. I love the Spider-Man movies, Sam Raimi. I even like Spider-Man 3. I think it's fine. It's got some weird moments, but all three of those Sam Raimi films are very campy. But I like that. Tahoe Mata 1888. Biomedia Project channel has uploaded vids we haven't seen, like Legend Reborn, WIP, Galileo feature, and so on. Cool. I didn't know about that. Do your thing. Jonas, do your thing. Thank you. Guinness Walker. Been spreading the word of your return. Lots of excitement so far. Love it. You took a peek at my content sometime, thinking of bringing old Legomation binging old Legomation vids. If you want to, man, like I said, you know, I'm sure they're very nostalgic for you guys. They're a little cringe for me. Not all of them. Like the Bionicle Memorial is like probably the video I'm most proud of, and even like the Glatorian movie I made, I'm proud of. You know, it's stop motion. It's pretty shitty stop motion in comparison to what a lot of people can do, even back then, but definitely nowadays. But go for it, man. Watch all my old videos, you know. Keep it active. You know, I'm fortunate I have friends that were doing YouTube 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and then stopped as well. And then they got back and their channel had the partnership revoked. They aren't a YouTube partner. The only reason my channel is like somewhat able to kind of come back and maintain a YouTube partner is because you guys keep rewatching my content after all these years. And not even you guys, but probably little kids who are just finding out about Bionicle run across my videos because it's still relevant and it's still attracting attention. And that's how my channel has actually been able to stay alive, and YouTube hasn't just written me off. I'm very fortunate that I have that. All right. Guinness Walker, I'll email you, but I think it might be full already. Limit was 100. Damn, it probably is. Oh, well. Is it Guinness Walker, answered me this. Is this like something TTV is putting on? I'm assuming so, like on a Discord or a Zoom. Maybe not. I'm assuming someone, though. Paraka Avok, I have a question. Should I open the bags and build a Bionicle G2 Titan I lost the box and stickers, or should I leave the bags unopened? Open the bags. If you lost the box and stickers, open the bag. They're just plastic bags. That's another thing. I mean, if you have in the bag, in the box, like G1, maybe keep them locked up, but I don't think G2 or G1 or G2 wave 1 or 2 are really going to like go up in value. If that's the reason why you're not opening the bags, go up in value for a long time. And if you already open the box, I don't know. One of the reasons I think like G2 sets aren't going to have as big of a lucrative value even in 15, 20 years, not only because they weren't as iconic as the original G1, but because the boxes weren't collectibles. They were just cardboard boxes, you know. The thing about like Bionicle, especially like the Toa sets every year, is that the canisters themselves were part of the collectible aspect of them. It's like every single thing about them besides, I guess, like the instructions were collectible. So it kind of was one of the big reasons why it's still around, I think, on like collectible websites and everything. Guinness Walker, FYI, bit of crackle on the audio. Yeah, it could be my laptop. It could be my internet connection. I have literally a $500 microphone right to my left that I will be using going forward. Just have to figure it out. It was on his Instagram. Dang, I'll check it right now. It was the first 100 to respond. Dang. Oh God. See, I follow Christian Faber, but I don't follow Nathan First. All right, I just got your email. Dang, I might have missed out. Oh shit. That's so cool that he still does this. Follow this, and this. Like this post. Comment with your first name. 2 winners will be selected. Bold names. Wow. Oh shoot. I probably missed out on this. Oh man, January 13th. I mean, I'm assuming I missed it, right? Oh, I'm assuming I missed it. I'll look into it a little more during dinner. Thanks though, Guinness Walker. Talmud 1888. Okay, guys, we're coming at about 5 minutes left, just FYI. So if you have any final thoughts or questions, message them in now. And if you're new, if you just showed up to this, start at the beginning and you can listen to the whole stream. Guinness Walker. All right, talking about here we are. If I did the live action Bionicle films and add humans into it to interact with the Toei and Nika, I avoid mistakes. Michael Bay, Last Airbender, live action Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's hard though, dude. Making movies is hard. We can, for all the live long day, keep saying like what those movies did wrong. To actually put it into fruition, it's very hard. But I agree, those are good points. You know, obviously those are things you want to think about. Fun fact though, I actually kind of like the live action Scooby-Doo films. They're not amazing by any means, but I watch them every Halloween. I just think they're nostalgic. Talamata 1888. Also unfair. We cannot write more than 200 letters on the live chat. It's unfair, but that's why you do like a part 1, part 2. You know, write it out first and then copy paste it in. And then I don't mind reading, even if it's like paragraphs of stuff. I'll read everything. Chuglet. Speaking of opening sealed Bionicle sets, I just recently opened it in 1201 Takuta Nuva. I regret it. Takuta Nuva. Oh man, wait, is this the one box? Hold up. Oh man. Oh man, I would regret that too. Oh shoot. Oh man. I mean, it's on eBay right now, 180, not in the box. Imagine in the box, brother. That's probably worth like $500 at least, maybe $7. This is like was so hard to find. I mean, I also, again, it's a box. It's not a container. I would have saved. This is what I've done for a lot of my Bionicles. I actually like saved the boxes still. Like I didn't mess up. I didn't fold them. So like if I wanted to, I don't have the bags. So they're not sealed in bags, but I could fold the creases back and like build the boxes again for a majority of like at least 2005 and up. I have like I think from the Hardika and up. That's too bad, but then again, dude, don't kill yourself over it. Is what it is. You know, what an awesome thing to have been able to find. I mean, I would have built this, man. Are you kidding me? I would have opened it up. By the way, I loved that Makuta set. That was so cool. I loved the Makuta set from 2003. I don't know why. I thought it was so cool. I was so into it. I remember just like literally having it by my bedside every night for a while, you know, little kid loving it. All right. I feel your pain, Chucklet. I feel your pain. Guinness Walker. Well, it's been fun. Really glad to see you're back. Looking forward to collabs in the future. Good luck, man. Totally. And let's keep doing this, man. Obviously, I do not want to just disappear into the ether again. Of course, you know, with the knowledge that I am in an industry that's definitely you know, works you to the bone. I don't see, you know, a clear path, but right now I don't see any work coming out in the future either. Kind of sitting around waiting to get this vaccine, to be honest. So I want to keep doing this, guys. I really do. It's just like you got to keep at it, and I just can't. I just don't want to stop making videos. Like I don't want to go more than a month at one time having not made a video because it's fun to do and I like that you guys are here and I want to keep building it. So let's keep doing it. Bumblebee movie was pretty generic. It was an overreaction. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was still better than a lot of the sequels to the Bay movies. Chuglet, also amazing to see your channel back, man. Of course, man. Great to see you guys here. 1888, I have Pterodax in many forms. I even created a Matoran form of him with infected How in 2015. That's awesome. I'd love to see that. Tagmata 1888, has anyone of the Ultimate Duma? I remember that set. That was great. Very similar to the Taka Tanuva. Paraka Avak, thank you so very much for your answering all my questions. You're truly a good person. Remember to stay safe, healthy, enjoy the weeks and weekends. Again, truly, truly thank you. Thanks, man. I'm not a fan. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Glad to see you back. Been a fan of you since 09 when I was 11. Time flies. Yeah, Akar Productions, totally. I don't know if you noticed. I think I made you one of the featured channels in my channel list. I'm going to go through this chat and add some more of you guys to that and just let's keep it going, guys. Like, I'm going to film a video tonight, hopefully, if my voice comes back to me in an hour here. Have some dinner, relax, and yeah, let's keep it going. I'm glad to see you guys here. If you just got here, you know, I'm going to save this and probably upload it. I think I can. That's my first time doing this, so I hope I save it. I hope let's meet at the next live chat. All right. Have a good night, man. It was nice watching you, of course. So with that, thanks for tuning in. Let's keep this going. Let's keep the conversation going. Even if Bionicle doesn't come back for the 90th anniversary set, let's do it. And all right. No, damn way, didn't even know that. Was just dropping by. Thanks, man. Yeah, totally. Start from the beginning of the video too. I've talked about a lot today. And hey, guys, for old time's sake, this is LegomationStudio signing off. How about that? That's pretty good, right? This is LegomationStudio signing out. Off. Out. What did I say? Out. This is LegomationStudio signing off. Yeah. Odd dude's like, lol, that's pretty good. I'm sure you guys thought that was funny.